Hello and welcome to another episode of our Risk Professional Interview. Today, our guest is Mr. Evan Garmon from Arthur Gallagher. Mr. Garmon and his team are specialized in providing risk transfer solutions for his clients. Before joining Arthur Gallagher, he created an insurance program for the emerging aerospace sector of commercial drones for an independent agency. Mr. Garmon also serves the risk management and insurance community as a board member for the newly established Greater Bluegrass chapter of Risk and Insurance Management Society, RIMS, in Kentucky. Welcome, Evan, and thank you so much for your time today. I sincerely appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Let's jump right in. Like many of our students, you double majored in both RMI and finance in your undergraduate studies. Would you please take a few moments to explain how those degrees helped in your career?
Yeah, of course. So again, first off, I'll say thank you very much for having me. I do appreciate this opportunity. Back in high school, me and my family would never have guessed I'd end up in the insurance industry. There's a few factors in that. It just didn't seem like I was maybe made for sales, or I was a little more of an introvert, believe it or not, back in those days. But getting into the RMI program at Ball State University really, it just really kind of ignited something in me. I did double major, so I don't want to downplay the world of finance degree had in my career early on, but finding out that I was able to double major just really kind of set something up for me. So I was originally going in with that finance major, and finding out it only took a few extra credit hours to get the RMI degree. I felt that would just set me apart in that the job market early on. I was graduating in 2014, and just trying to find a job in Indiana. It just seemed like, oh, I don't know about banking, if that was going to be a role or anything. So I kind of leaned more into the insurance side of things. Took that up and ran with it. I got a job right out of college with, like I said, small independent insurance agency. And that RMI degree really kind of set the stage for me to help talk right out the gate with people about some of those the higher level insurance coverages and having those conversations that really kind of bring it down to a more simple form. Again, the finance degree part was able to really help me with that business acumen out the gate as well. Helping to understand people's financial statements, what's going on in the financial markets, the economy overall. So again, it's really just that pairing really kind of helps set the stage for me early on in my career, and I'm very grateful.
That's great. Thanks for those comments. And I see that you're the world's leading expert in the emerging aerospace and drone insurance. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a short 3-year span, you managed to gain over 400 clients. What an incredible number. Can you please tell us how you started and grow that program?
Yeah, so I do have to say, I'm the former expert on drones. I no longer sell drone insurance. Which I can get in that here in a second, but from 2016 to 2018, I was able to build a sizable book of business around drones early on in my career. So when you start working in the commercial insurance space, they push you to find your niche. So in 2014, right when I started, I really just had to dig right into it. Talking with my agency's owner, and he set up a few meetings late 2014 and 2015. With some different carrier partners we have and wholesale broker relationships. They started talking about some of the new things that they were starting to see, again, like drone insurance being one of those, and it really piqued my interest. So I started digging more into that. And what you'll find in the RMI programs, I found that aviation is usually only covered for maybe 1 or 2 days total, it seemed like, in the program. So aviation is kind of something that's a little different. It's really, really specialized. So there wasn't really much I took into that. So I really had to do a lot of digging and research on my own. And drones was something that was not even covered in my program. That was just something, again, you talk about the non-owned aviation sector. It was just there's something really different about that. And so I started doing my research. I asked a lot of questions from our carrier partners, doing independent research, again, through whatever articles I could find about it. I was actually able to sell my first drone policy to a guy in Massachusetts who just came about my information. There were a bunch of tweets that I had started just putting out on drone insurance. So from there, it was about a year or so after that point, things just went from just 0 to 100 when the FAA released some new guidelines for the commercial drone use. I'd say the floodgates really opened at that point when they came out with the 107 license. I used a lot of social media marketing, and I was able to get a streamlined intake system with one of our carrier partners. And that's really how I was able to amass that large of a book in a relatively short period of time. But I was also doing a lot of podcast interviews with people, just trying to get my name out there as best as I could. And yeah, again, unfortunately, there's a reason I'm no longer doing it. I really hate to. I kind of got burnt out with it. It was there's a lot of activity, short amount of time, but with where I saw that industry going, it was just one of those things you just had to constantly keep learning. And it was I was starting a family, so it was, I needed to find something that was a little more stable and didn't have to command as much hours. So I've since pivoted here to Arthur J. Gallagher, and I've got a smaller book of business, but it's with larger accounts that it's a lot more stable for better or worse. So.
Yeah, what a great story. With Arthur Gallagher, who you currently work with, you now work with the middle market accounts from a variety of industries, such as manufacturing and public section. If you would, please tell our students an example of how you help your clients with their risk solutions.
Yeah. So working for Gallagher, it's opened up quite a few doors, accounts I never would have imagined working with throughout Kentucky, Indiana, and some other areas of the country. Again, mainly manufacturers, but I do have some public entity accounts, and we actually just wrote an insurance carrier here just recently, also out in California. So that's been exciting times around here for sure. Analytics has actually been a big push here in the insurance industry is the past couple of years, and Gallagher's really worked on our technology and just helping to build out those platforms. Being able to understand and read what the data is telling us is really the key to minimizing that total cost of risk in the future. We work with a process that takes into account the 6 cost drivers of risk. We use those tools that Gallagher's created to help drive our clients' total cost of risk down while really keeping their needs in check. We're in a unique insurance market also right now, just kind of highlight. When we're seeing these renewals coming in, typically the renewal pricing is increasing higher than what a carrier will actually quote the same account for as a new business account. So we've been successful in negotiating lower renewal terms with the long-term insurance carrier partners, leveraging the quotes that we are receiving when we market out those accounts year to year. So it's kind of a unique situation here where we are telling our clients you should be looking for insurance quotes just to keep those insurance prices down, and that's insurance premium is one of our 6 cost drivers we do focus on. So it's not everything to risk management, of course. I mean, premium is something that we will focus on, but at the end of the day, what's best for the client is it may be that you pay a little bit more for your insurance to get better coverage. That way you're going to have less claim, or excuse me, have more coverage for a larger claim if you would have just paid a little bit less in the beginning. So we take really kind of all that into account, look at how broad the coverage is, what coverage gaps there are, those uninsured losses, and how those all play a role in the total of the program structure, looking at contractual liabilities, and of course, following up with loss control and claims. So I've really enjoyed my time at Gallagher here. Like I said, it's opened up a lot of doors. And yeah, just insurance is something that's always, there's always a new challenge for you as well in this industry. Again, you're working with all these different accounts, and you've really got to put a lot of puzzle pieces together, and sometimes a short amount of time, but it's definitely a rewarding experience.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you found it very nice working with Arthur Gallagher. Yeah. With you and your team members' efforts, now we have a newly established bluegrass chapter of RIMS in Kentucky. Could you please share with our students your vision about this chapter and how our students can get involved in this newly established chapter?
Yeah. So the Greater Bluegrass chapter, it's actually the reset of the two original RIMS chapters we had in Kentucky for many years. The chapter combined into the Bluegrass chapter about, I think it was in the 1990s or somewhere around that time, before RIMS was even something I even knew about. But with the chapter, it did eventually fizzle out, unfortunately. I think the chapter ended about 8 to 12 years ago, from what I've been told. It just really was a lack of support. There was just really no growth in new members in the insurance community around here. It just really kind of got stagnant, unfortunately, from what I heard. So we have got a group. We were able to revamp the chapter here back in May. We actually kicked it off. We are looking to do a lot more virtual meetings, but also that engagement with educational programs, just like EKU, for instance. We are based mainly in Louisville, but we do have members really all across Kentucky, and some even up in Indiana, some kind of the southern Indiana area, where they just don't have their own RIMS chapter really close to them. So again, Lexington is really where one chapter was. Louisville was where the other chapter was. We combined again, and we see a lot of opportunity in both these areas here. Again, there's a lot of insurance. A lot of insurance agents, but also a lot of risk managers in both areas. So for the most part, our chapter does consist of risk managers from these individual companies. We are growing with independent agencies, other insurance agencies coming on board as well. We do find that, again, something we really want to push to help with the future of the insurance community in Kentucky is to start instilling that in the students that are coming up. So we are looking at doing a mentorship program here, probably starting late 2023, 2024. We're still kind of working through how many volunteers we can get for that, how that's all going to work out. But really, it's to build that risk management community mindset here in Kentucky, where other areas of the country have had long established chapters. We're really excited that we've been able to bring this chapter back and again, just start having a true risk management community mindset here in Kentucky.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Those are all my questions today, and thank you so much for your time, Evan. It's been such a great pleasure to speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swain.